Hi, my name is Clare McKenzie. I'm a dietitian working in the NHS in Scotland, and I'm delighted to have been asked by the British Liver Trust to present on a topic that I'm so passionate about today. I'm just going to get the presentation up on the screen. In my clinical practice day to day, I'm seeing more and more patients being diagnosed with liver disease, so I think it's really good to try and raise awareness of how we can possibly prevent this. So this presentation is aimed at those who don't have a diagnosis of liver disease but are keen to learn about the importance of a balanced diet and keeping to a healthy weight, which is essential for looking after your liver. There are many different kinds of liver disease, but today I'm going to be focusing on those that can be prevented by lifestyle changes, such as alcoholic liver disease and fatty liver disease. If you do have a confirmed diagnosis of liver disease, then please speak to your doctor for more specific dietary advice for your liver condition, and they may refer you on to a dietitian such as myself for support. So let's get started. Hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll have a better understanding of how diet can cause liver damage, the importance of keeping to a healthy weight, and how to have a healthy balanced diet. At the end, I'll hopefully dispel some common myths about nutrition and liver disease and provide references to additional resources and support. So your liver is your body's factory, and it carries out hundreds of jobs that are essential to life, such as controlling energy balance, removing chemicals, toxins and drugs from the blood, producing proteins, activating hormones, storing nutrients and processing food during digestion. An unbalanced diet can cause harm to your liver, and your liver responds to this by becoming inflamed. If your liver is repeatedly harmed, new liver cells cannot regenerate fast enough and scar tissue called fibrosis forms. Making positive lifestyle changes can reverse some or all of the fibrosis and prevent further damage. However, if positive changes are not made, then the fibrosis tissue can turn into nodules, which becomes more permanent scar tissue called cirrhosis. You may not have any signs or symptoms in the early stages of liver cirrhosis, but complications may arise, which is referred to as decompensated cirrhosis or advanced liver disease. Once you have liver cirrhosis, you're at an increased risk of developing cancer. You may be at higher risk of developing fatty liver disease if you're obese, have type 2 diabetes, have high levels of fat in your blood, such as triglycerides and cholesterol, and high blood pressure. The good news is that all of these risk factors can be prevented or improved by making healthier changes to what you eat. Good nutrition and keeping to a healthy weight is therefore important to reduce your risk of developing these conditions and damage to your liver. Some forms of liver disease are linked to obesity, and up to 90% of morbidly obese individuals are thought to have fatty livers. Obesity can also speed up the damage associated with other conditions such as alcoholic liver disease. To keep to a healthy weight, you need to balance the amount of food you eat with the energy you need. If you eat fewer calories than your body needs, then you will lose weight. Similarly, if you eat more energy than your body needs, then you will gain weight. At present, the guidelines state the best way to determine if you're overweight is to calculate your BMI or body mass index. This is a score that gives a guide as to whether you're a healthy weight for your height, but it can be flawed as if you have a high muscle mass or fluid retention. You can input your data into the NHS website BMI calculators to see your score, or ask your doctor or healthcare professional to calculate and discuss your risk with you. The best way to lose weight or keep to a healthy weight is to follow a balanced diet and regular exercise. So let's have a look first at physical activity. Adults should aim to do some type of physical activity any day. Any type of activity is good for you, and the more that you do, the better. The NHS recommends that we should aim to be physically active every day and to reduce the time we spend sitting or lying down, and break up long periods of activity by moving with some activity. The guidelines recommend doing strengthening activities that work all the major muscle groups on at least 2 days a week, such as yoga and lifting weights. They also recommend doing at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity a week, such as brisk walking and cycling, or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity activity a week, such as jogging, sports or exercise classes. The best way to improve how active you are is to set yourself small, realistic goals for the level that you're at. A daily brisk walk can boost your energy, lift your mood, and make everyday activities easier. The NHS Get Active website has some good resources for simple exercises at home and setting goals. So for the remainder of this presentation, I'll focus on nutrition for reducing your risk of liver disease. The Eat Well guide can be a good visual aid in helping you to have a healthy, balanced diet. It shows the proportions in which different types of foods are needed to have a well-balanced diet. The proportions shown are representative of your food consumption over the period of a day or even a week, not necessarily at each mealtime. The Eat Well guide divides the foods and drinks we consume into 5 main food groups. We should try to choose a variety of different foods from each group to help us get a wide range of nutrients that our body needs to stay healthy and work properly. The Eat Well guide applies to most adults regardless of weight and ethnic origin, and there are adapted versions for those who follow a vegetarian or vegan diet, which I'll provide reference to at the end of the presentation. You can use this guide to make healthier choices when you're deciding on what to eat, shopping for food, choosing food on the go, or dining out. Now let's take a closer look at each of the food groups. So most of us will have heard of the saying eating your 5 a day, but how many of us actually do this? Fruit and veg is a great source of essential vitamins, minerals and fibre. It's recommended that we aim to eat at least 5 portions of a variety of fruit and vegetables each day, which should make up to over a third of the total food that we eat across the day. Fresh, frozen, canned, dried and juiced fruit and veg all count towards a portion, and a rough guide to a portion is enough to fit in the palm of your hands. If having tinned or canned fruit and veg, try to choose those in natural juice rather than in syrup for no added sugar, and it's important to try limit the dried fruit portions such as raisins or apricots, as these are higher in sugar than fresh fruit. Additionally, fruit juices and smoothies should be limited to no more than a small glass, which is approximately 150 ml a day, as when fruit is blended or juiced, it releases sugars, which if consumed in excess can lead to tooth decay, weight gain and diabetes. Try to avoid or minimise adding sauces or dressings high in fat, salt and sugar to your fruit and veg, such as chocolate sauce to bananas or creamy dressings to your salad, as this will contribute towards extra calories. You can bulk out your meals with vegetables such as grated carrot, mushrooms or peppers for an extra portion of your 5 a day, and it also helps to make the meal spread further. My top tip is to eat the rainbow. Different coloured fruit and veg contain their own combinations of vitamins, minerals and fibre, so to get the most benefit, variety is key. Carbohydrates get a bit of a bad press, but starchy carbohydrates are the body's main source of energy and are an important part of the diet as they contain fibre, calcium, iron and B vitamins. They should make up to about a third of the food we eat. Some people think that starchy food is fattening, but gram for gram it contains less than half the fat of calories. You just need to watch your portion size and the fats that you add when you're cooking and serving starchy carbohydrates. So for example, adding extra cheese to pasta or butter or cream to potatoes, as these will increase the overall calorie content and can lead to weight gain and fatty deposits on your liver. Whole grain varieties of starchy carbohydrates and potatoes with their skin on are good sources of fibre. My top tip is to try to choose higher varieties of starchy carbohydrates, as fibre helps to keep your bowels healthy and improve blood glucose levels if you're diabetic. Fibre can help you feel full, which means that you're less likely to eat too much, which can minimise snacking if you're trying to keep to a healthy weight. The Eat Well guide recommends that we should try to have some milk and dairy foods in our diet, such as cheese and yogurt. Dairy alternatives such as soya milks, yogurts and cheeses also count as part of this food group. Dairy products are a good source of calcium, which is needed to keep our teeth and bones strong. If you're choosing dairy alternatives like soya or almond milk, then check the label to make sure that these are fortified with added calcium. To make healthier choices, check the food labels and opt for lower fat and sugar options. Much of the fat in milk and dairy foods is saturated fat, which if consumed too much can contribute to weight gain and high levels of cholesterol in the blood, which are both two key risk factors in developing liver disease. It's important to be mindful to check the food labels for yogurts, as often if manufacturers remove some of the fat content, then they may increase the sugar content for flavour. I'll talk more about how to read food labels later on in the presentation. Try swapping full cream milk for semi-skimmed or skimmed milk, and try using grated cheese instead of sliced cheese, as you will use less as this goes further. Moving on to sources of protein, and you might automatically think of meat, chicken, fish and eggs, but beans, peas and lentils are all good alternatives to meat, as they're naturally low in fat, but high in protein, fibre, vitamins and minerals, so can be a healthier swap at meal times, and they also count towards one of your 5 a day. We need protein for the growth, repair and maintenance of all our body's cells, tissues and muscles, so it's important that we have plenty of protein in our diet so that we don't become muscle wasted. A balanced diet should include at least 2 portions of fish per week, one of these being an oily fish. Oily fish such as salmon and sardines are particularly high in omega-3 acids, which can help to keep your heart healthy. Fish that is steamed, baked or grilled is a healthier choice than fried fish and those in batter. Some types of meat, particularly red and processed meat, are high in saturated fat, which I've already mentioned that we don't want to be eating too much of. To cut down on fat, try to choose lean cuts of meat, cut off visible fat from meat and skin off chicken, and try grilling instead of frying, as this removes any excess fat. A handy portion size for protein is roughly the size of your hand. Thinking now about oils and spreads, and this is the smallest section on the Eat Well guide, and these are essentially fats. We need fat in our diet, but we should be using these products sparingly as they are high in calories, so cutting down on these types of foods could help to control your weight. Choose lower fat spreads where possible and use them sparingly. Try to choose unsaturated fats, as these are healthier fats and they're usually from plant sources such as vegetable, rapeseed or olive oil. Swapping to unsaturated fats will help to reduce the cholesterol in your blood, which, as you might remember, is one of the main risk factors of liver disease. Oils expand when they're heated, so heating oil in the pan before you use it will help make it go further. A handy guide when cooking with oils and spreads is that one portion should be no more than the top of your thumb. You might have noticed at the start of the presentation that these foods were on the outside of the Eat Well guide. This is because foods high in fat, salt and sugars are not required as part of a balanced diet. If included, they should be consumed less often and small in portion size. We've spoken a lot about fat today, but too much sugar can lead to tooth decay and risk factors for liver disease, such as the development of type 2 diabetes and excess weight gain. Foods high in salt can contribute to high blood pressure, which is another risk factor for the development of liver disease. These foods should be seen as a treat, and you can try to choose healthier swaps. So swapping cakes and biscuits for a slice of malt loaf or a tea cake with low-fat spread. Try swapping added sugar in hot drinks for calorie-free sweeteners. Swap mayonnaise for reduced fat versions, and try baked crisps instead of fried crisps. It can be easy to forget about the fluids we drink, but choosing healthier drinks is a key part to getting a balanced diet. The Eat Well guide recommends that we aim to drink 6 to 8 glasses of fluid every day to try and stay hydrated. There's a strong association with the more sugary drinks you consume and your risk of developing liver disease. Many soft drinks, including instant powdered drinks such as fizzy drinks and hot chocolate, are high in sugar and calories, which can make you more likely to gain weight. Try swapping these for sugar-free versions or water with added lemon, cucumber or mint to add flavour. Pre-bottled flavoured water drinks can often contain a surprisingly large amount of sugar, so check the labels before you purchase these. Drinking alcohol can increase your risk of developing liver disease and can cause irreparable damage. The government recommends that men and women should drink regularly no more than 14 units of alcohol per week. This should be spread out evenly over 3 or more days, with 2 to 3 alcohol-free days per week. Saving up all your units for the weekend is not advisable, as this puts an increased amount of stress on the liver at one time. The term unit can be confusing, as 1 unit does not mean 1 alcoholic drink, as you might think. You can see that a large glass of wine has around 3 units of alcohol and a pint of beer around 2.3 units of alcohol. These can quickly add up to the recommended 14 units, as it would equate to roughly 4.5 large glasses of wine or 6 pints of beer per week. It's important to remember that these are standard measures, so if drinking at home or freehand measures are often much larger. We often don't think about the calorie content of the alcohol we drink, which can significantly add up and lead to unwanted weight gain, further increasing our risk of developing liver disease. You might be surprised that a large glass of wine has the same amount of calories as a donut, and for the body to utilise these calories, we would have to roughly run for about 20 minutes. And this might make you think twice about having that extra glass of wine. When drinking spirits, try to use no added sugar mixtures to reduce additional sugar and calorie intake. Again, it's important to remember that these are standard measures, so if drinking at home or freehand measures are often much larger. I've mentioned several times about checking food labels to try to choose foods which have the lowest fat, salt, sugar content, but how do we do that? Lots of pre-packaged foods have a food label on the front of the pack which shows the nutrition information per serving. Most are colour-coded so that you can see at a glance if they're red high, amber medium, or green low in fat, saturated fat, sugars and salt. For a healthier choice, try to pick food or drink products with the most greens and ambers and fewer reds. Remember that the portion sizes used on the label are a suggestion and may not be the same as what you actually consume. For example, some foods and drinks commonly consumed as single servings have the nutritional information presented as per half a pack. So for the final part of the presentation, I thought I would discuss some common facts and myths regarding nutrition and liver disease. Firstly, you might have heard that coffee is good for the liver disease, and this is true. Interestingly, there's research to suggest that regularly drinking moderate amounts of coffee may prevent liver cancer and lower the risk of liver damage, but it's important to be mindful of adding sugar and full cream milk to coffee, which will increase the calorie, fat and sugar content. You may have read that some fad diets are safe. Fad diets are usually weight loss diets that promise that you can lose weight quickly. These diets usually involve crash dieting where calorie intakes may be drastically reduced or whole food groups excluded. They tend to provide a short-term fix but are difficult and can be dangerous to follow in the long term. Please speak to your doctor or healthcare professional for more advice if you're unsure if the information that you're reading on the internet is safe. A Mediterranean style diet may be good for me. This is true. Research has shown that a Mediterranean style diet can be particularly beneficial for the general population and people with fatty liver disease. This type of diet is typically high in fruit, vegetables, nuts, beans, cereals, grains, fish, and unsaturated fat with a lower intake of meat and dairy foods. There has also been some new research on a green Mediterranean diet which has even more green plant foods and very little red meat that has more benefits for heart health than the traditional Mediterranean diet. If you're interested in following a Mediterranean diet, speak with your doctor or healthcare professional for more advice, who may refer you on to a dietitian for support with this. I can do a dietary detox of my liver. This is false. There are diets that recommend certain foods help your liver to detox or promote liver cleansing, but there is no evidence that toxins build up in your liver, and some of these diets can be very dangerous if you have underlying health conditions. I need to take multiple dietary supplements. Dietary supplements are not an alternative to eating a well-balanced diet. Your body needs a wide range of vitamins and minerals to be able to function correctly, and the best way to do this is to eat a variety of foods as discussed with the Eat Well guide. If you feel that your diet may be lacking in particular nutrients, then please consult your doctor or dietitian for advice. So to summarise, my key take-home messages for you today in order to eat well for a healthy liver are to try to keep to a healthy weight, aim to eat the rainbow to consume a variety of nutrients every day, try to make some simple, easy, healthy swaps, be mindful of portion sizes and start to look at the nutritional labelling of foods. Most importantly, small changes can make a big impact, and remember to love your liver. I would like to thank the British Liver Trust again for this opportunity to speak to you today, and I hope that you found the session beneficial. I've added some websites for additional resources and support, and the British Liver Trust has a fantastic range of publications and further information on liver disease on their website. Thank you for listening.